This is Chris Before over at SkyTech Enterprise Solutions. And today we want to do an intro video for Splunk, right? So we're doing an introduction to Splunk, and let's get into it. So we want to start with the simple question, what is Splunk, right? So to make it very simple and basic, Splunk is a software engine that can be used to investigate, troubleshoot, monitor, visualize, create alerts on, and pretty much generate reports on all the activity that's happening in an entire infrastructure, an entire IT infrastructure from one location in real time. So bottom line is, with Splunk, you can monitor all the interactions between your network servers, your domain controllers, your user laptops and desktops, your application servers, your database servers. You can monitor all the activity in real time, or you can save it to log files and browse it on demand. So a lot of people say things like Splunk is the Google to your computer, which makes a lot of sense, simply because if Google can be used to search the internet, then Splunk can also be used to search your computer activities. What exactly is Splunk used in searching? Splunk can be used to look for user logons, log-offs, log-on attempts that failed, applications that were started on your computer. So for instance, if you come into your computer in the morning, you log on with your username and password, and you start browsing the internet using a web browser, let's say Firefox or Mozilla, Splunk will definitely capture that type of information, right? And you don't need to have Splunk installed on your local computer in order to capture those activities. Another person can be sitting somewhere in a different part of your network, and they could be actively monitoring your computer, right? So that same individual could be actively monitoring a server, let's say a web server, an ASP.NET server, a SQL server, a SharePoint server, a Cognos server, you name it, Linux computers, Linux servers. And the reason why Splunk can actively monitor these systems is simply because all these systems create log files when they start operating. So if you come in, you power off your computer, it logs the fact that it shut down, right? So if you power it up, it creates a log, and a log file is pretty much it could be a text file. So imagine like a notepad file that you open, and then it says, 9 a.m. 001 seconds, computer was shut down by John Doe. 9:03, computer is up. 9:04, John Doe attempts to log in. 9:05, his password is wrong, he fails, so that's a failed login attempt. 9:10, John Doe is able to log in successfully. 9:11, John Doe starts Microsoft Outlook, right? All these things are being captured. That computer that John Doe is using is creating application logs for the application. So the web browser is an application. Microsoft Excel is an application. Any software piece, software module that's on your computer is an application, and so on and so forth. So as your computer is generating all these logs, obviously over time, the log files will fill up your hard drive, right? So your IT manager, IT team may technically set a limit on your log file captures in your computer. And this could be across the network, right? So they could say, hey, when log files reach 10 megabytes, start deleting the oldest log files. Or it could simply be that when log files are 10 days old, start deleting the oldest log file. So there's a cap, right? Which also puts a limit on how far back Splunk can go back to do a search. Let's say a breach happened 3 months ago and your computer has already gotten rid of its log files, then that'll be an issue. But usually there are different ways of backing up data. Maybe you have some data, some log files backed up on premise, others are stored in network environments. Sometimes, you have a backup of off-premise where the data is physically copied and sent elsewhere, geographically or electronically, right? So there's no limit to how many log files you can store, which means you can do an investigation as far back as you want using Splunk. Okay. Splunk Enterprise takes valuable machine data and turns it into powerful operational intelligence by providing real-time insight into your data through charts, alerts, reports, etc. All right, folks, that'll be our intro video, and I'll see you in the next video.